maybe about 30 or 40 minutes after I was thrown into a van by James, probably not his real name. We arrived at an abandoned building. After James got out and opened the doors, I tried to make my escape, but he tased me. Then he said, "Please don't make this hard. I don't want to be tased again," so I just did as he said. We walked inside of the building and then into a room and told me to sit down. He pulled out his phone and called someone saying he's here. After James hung up, it got really quiet. I asked him what that cell phone call was about, and he said that he had to call his boss. Then I asked him what this place was and what his boss was going to do to me, and he said that he didn't know. I was still really confused on why he would do this to me because I trusted him. So I asked him why he kidnapped me. All he said was this: "If you won't shut up, I'm gonna tase you again, or worse." I decided to keep my mouth shut. I guess that was a good idea because his boss walked in, and I couldn't believe who it was. "Hey, Greg!" "It was Albert, Sandy? How? And why?" Must have been dreaming, so I told James to tase me again, and he did. This wasn't a dream. I asked Albert where I was, and he said it was his headquarters. Then he asked me if I wanted a tour of this place. This isn't Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, but what else was I supposed to say? So he led me through the building. One of the rooms on the tour that Albert showed me was where he would ship yogurt and drugs, but mostly yogurt. But the strange part is that Fregley was there. Even Manny was there. "My organ harvesting room." "Help, Bubby." I asked Albert how all this started. I asked him, so he got to the point. We made this place his headquarters back when middle school started, when he got into all this dark web stuff. Then he bought James as his slave to help him with all his dirty work. But after a few years of service of selling yogurt and organs took off and he wanted new people to work for him, he didn't want anyone to use his money on buying people, so he decided to use someone from school. For some reason, he thought that I would be the perfect person who would like doing this stuff, so he brought it up to me because he knew that I would be curious. So he decided to do tests on me. He hacked into my computer, so whenever I would pay anyone to do something for me, it would be James. So finally, after a while of seeing what I'd do, he asked me if I wanted to work for him, and I gave him his answer. "I'm sorry, but no." He looked kind of confused for a second, and then he laughed. He said that wasn't a good choice. He then snapped his fingers, and James started to walk towards me. This obviously didn't look so good, so I made a run for it. I guess it wasn't good that I got a tour, because now I knew how to get around that place. From looking back, he didn't look like he was in a hurry, so I guess that could buy me some time. After running down a few corridors, I ran into a room and hid behind a table. But apparently, it didn't take him that long to find me. "I can see you, Greg." And he didn't have a little taster this time. He had a gun. I wasn't planning on dying this soon, so I told him that I had an idea where nothing bad could happen. I was lucky because he actually put his gun out of my face and told me to make it quick. So I told him that if we both escape, then we don't have to hear from Albert Sandy ever again. And he said he liked the idea, but I asked him why he hadn't escaped in the first place. James said that he couldn't escape from this place because Albert installed a shock collar on his ankle, so whenever James doesn't do his bidding, he'll shock him. So I grabbed a hammer that was on the table and started to bash at it, and it actually came off. He was ticked off, though, because he thought I was going to snap off his ankle. After all of that, we started to get the heck out of there. James said that there was an exit a few turns from running, but as soon as we were doing that, we accidentally ran into Albert Sandy. He asked us where we were going. And believe it or not, James said, "Get out of my way, you lump of pork," and beat the tar out of him. Then after pushing through the exit of the building, we hopped into James' van, and we started to drive out of there. I asked him what we were going to do about Albert, and he said he had control of all of the explosive yogurt below the building, and he pressed a button on the remote-looking thingy. November. Wow, I haven't written in this for a while. Sum it all up, I haven't written anything in this for a long time because everything has just gone back to normal, I guess. Aside from me paying Sherrod to pretend to be my brother. Me and James started to bond recently, and I've just become really good friends. What the heck? But I've came back to my journal for a specific reason. James has been acting really absent lately. I would always text him and he wouldn't respond. He would always leave me unread. Now he's not the only one acting strange. Riley is as well. I went up to him today and he just pushed me away. "Go suck on an egg, Greg." Then fine, I don't need Riley. I have James. I hope. Tuesday. I started jumping to conclusions about James today. I'm thinking, what if this has to do with Albert? But that's impossible. He's dead. Yeah, he has access to different illegal things, but I don't think he could find something to make him immortal. So if I'm gonna go to his blown up HQ, see if I can find anything. But there is a problem. How do I get there? I asked Shrog if he had any ideas, and he said he knows a guy who can get us a car. How do you know about this guy? You don't want to know. Uh-huh. Anyway, Shrog brought me downtown behind a sketchy building, and I met that guy that Shrog was talking about. His name was Dominic. What are you doing back here, shrimp? I'm here to get the car. Boss said I could use it if I wanted. After getting out of that place, we got into the car and started driving to Albert's destroyed HQ. You might be wondering, how do I know where it is? Well, it's quite simple. When me and James were friends, he told me where it was, a few miles away from Plainview. When we got to the HQ, it was nothing but rubble, besides the giant piles of yogurt everywhere. After looking through the junk a little bit, I noticed something. Albert's body was nowhere to be found. Wednesday. None of this makes any sense. First, James goes missing. Riley is mad at me, and Albert's body is gone, and now Riley is suddenly acting nice to me. How's it going, Greg? I don't know if he's bipolar or something now, but it's getting kind of strange. Another thing he asked me today was if I could spend the night at his house, so I agreed. I think I'll get my mind off of things, but I'm bringing Shrog too if anything weird happens. Thursday. I knew it! As soon as me and Shrog opened Riley's front door, that giant piece of lard smacked us in the head with a metal bat. When I woke up, me and Shrog were tied up and inside a moving van. Here we go again. Shrog was already awake and he asked me what was going on, and I told him I don't know, until Riley told us to shut our mouths. Be quiet back there. I'm surprised you know how to drive. Eventually, we got to our destination, and we were at another building in the middle of nowhere. Riley motioned us inside. Riley took us into a room that had Albert and James inside, but James was tied up too. I still didn't want to talk to him, though, so I started asking Albert all the questions. You're supposed to be dead. How are you alive? Simple. I sealed myself with yogurt. Of course you would. Why is James here? Since he called me a lump of pork, I kidnapped him, stole all his stuff, and tortured him. Where am I? My boss, Mr. S, lended me the building. That's when I told him he should go suck on a rock, but he said he brought me here so he can torture me too. But he doesn't need James anymore. He doesn't need Shrog. So Riley kicked them out and locked the door shut, and kicked them out and locked the door, and started to walk me into another room. The room was lit red, and it had a chair in the middle. I didn't know if I was hallucinating, but I swear there was bloodstains on there. After they strapped me down, Albert said he was going to grab some tools. As soon as Albert let me in the room, I asked Riley why he was so mad at me, and he said it was because Albert told him that I put a camera in his room. That's also why I joined Albert. I completely forgot about the camera I set up. I guess, like everything has been going by so fast. It felt like yesterday when I joined the dark web. I told Riley I was sorry, and I was getting ahead of myself, and I wouldn't do anything like that ever again, but I didn't say the thing. That's when Albert came in carrying a saw and a hammer, and I couldn't even tell what the other thing was. I'm back! Albert put everything on a table, and he said, eeny, meeny, miny, mo with them, and landed on the saw. He walked over to me and started to saw my leg off. It was the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. Right when he started sawing it into my bone, I passed out. I woke up with Albert slapping my face. I guess he was waking me up. I couldn't feel my leg, and I didn't even want to look at it. But what I did see through was Albert telling Riley to cut off my arm. Your turn, Riley. Cut off his arm. I guess the whole Joshy thing paid off, though, because Riley said no. Right before Albert could do anything, James and Shrog busted down the door and grabbed Albert. After wrestling that fat warthog, they tied him up and knocked him out. After losing so much blood, I passed out. Monday. I guess it's time to catch you up on what happened after I passed out. James, Shrog, and Riley helped me out with my leg, and we all got in the van. To take care of Albert, they put him in a bag, tied weights on him, and tossed him over a bridge. The next day, James took me to the hospital for my leg and paid the hospital bill. Then he went on the dark web and bought me a cool robot leg as a new one. Other than that, me and Riley became friends again, and I'm still paying Shrog to pretend to be my younger brother. It's gonna be a while before I forget about all this, so I'm just gonna put the past behind me. The end. Alright, that is Die for Wimpy Kid, The Dark Web Part 2. If you want me to read any other ones, then you can just go to the comment section and comment the name of them. Peace!